Over on the hilltop, the USF Dons men's basketball team is entering year one of the Chris Gerlufsen era. The Dons lost leading scorer Jamari Bouye, but expectations remain high. This is a team that has a bevy of talent and will look to contend for a WCC crown. And joining us now is the new head man, Chris Gerlufsen. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks for having me on.
So, hey, it's a new era at USF, year one for you. What do you want your coaching culture to be and the identity that you'll bring to this team?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, coming off the tremendous year that we had last year, getting to experience what March Madness was about after a 24-year drought. We had a really good recipe last year, so I would be silly if I sat up here and said I was going to reinvent the wheel. I think we have a really good plan in terms of what made us successful last year from both a offensive and a defensive standpoint. And a lot of that stuff will stay the same. Obviously, each team has to develop a different identity. Our personnel is a little bit different from last year, but in terms of the way that we play and kind of the things that we try to enforce on a daily basis, I think all that stuff will remain the same.
Now, I mentioned Jamari Bouye in my intro to you. He's with the Miami Heat now. You guys leaned on him a lot for scoring, leadership, etc. last season. Who are you guys really going to lean on this year in terms of that experience and veteran leadership?
Yeah, I think the beauty of our team is, we have 10, 11 guys back who experienced that NCAA tournament run last year. So there's going to be a lot of familiar faces here. Obviously, being able to retain Khalil Shabazz and get him to come back for another year, a guy who's been an all-conference guy for 2 years here, that's tremendous for our program. And he's going to be a guy who, we lean on heavily. But the transfer portal was really good for us. Adding guys like Tyrell Roberts and Marcus Williams and Tony Rochak and Sabajiji Berry, guys who have performed and know what it's like to be Division I players and be successful. So while you can't replace Jamari and you can't replace Yalian Masalski and some of the other guys that we lost, I think what we've added is pretty impressive.
Now, you mentioned Khalil, and we know other schools were approaching him during the offseason to see if he would transfer to other schools. But Khalil said, you know what? I love what they're building at the Hilltop. He stays. What does that mean to a program where you have other schools trying to poach your guys and they stay because they believe in what you guys are building over on the Hilltop?
No, I think that speaks volumes to what this program's all about. And obviously, Kyle Smith and Todd Golden did a tremendous job of, just getting to this program to be a 20-win year-in, year-out program. And to have a guy like Khalil want to come back and trust in myself and trust in our staff, that meant the world to me. And he's somebody who I'm tremendously close with. And he's going to be an extension of both myself and our staff in terms of just being, he's a guy who knows what I'm about and knows what the expectations are. And he's going to be a huge part of what we do this year.
Chris, the WCC was loaded last year, and I think it kind of went under the radar, it was a West Coast conference, and a lot of people on the East Coast are asleep when you guys are playing. Do you expect it to be a similar gauntlet this season as you go through?
Yeah, I grew up on the East Coast, so I never truly appreciated what West Coast basketball was about. It was something that you turned on late at night. When you were trying to go to bed, you tried to, catch a WCC game or a Pac-12 game before you went to bed. And, being on the East or the West Coast now here for, going on 8 years, this is some of the best basketball in the country. And not only from a talent standpoint, I think WCC is really slept on in terms of just the quality of the coaches, in the league. And, night in, night out, you got your hands full. And I think that's what makes it's so exciting and why I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Now, Chris, I know it's early and you guys just started practicing and you'll form an identity as the season goes on. But from the outside looking in, when you see this group of guys, What do you think your calling card has to be? What will you guys really hang your hat on to be successful?
Yeah, I think, we're a team who values kind of playing the right way. We're going to try to space people out. We're going to it's a lot of read and react. We have a very European / NBA feel in terms of how we play from an offensive standpoint. But we're a team who, need to be about the gritty things. We need to take care of the ball. We need to defend at a high level. We were a top 25 defensive team last year and a top 50 offensive team. So the expectations and kind of what we value are not going to change, as a program. I think that's what gives us a chance to be really, really successful moving forward.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you for joining us here on KRON 4. We can't wait to cover you guys this season and be along for the ride. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it, Jason.